Today we are reviewing multiplying fractions and cross-canceling. So in this example, we have three fractions that are multiplied by each other, and one of the things we've learned is that we can cross-cancel any denominator with any numerator. They don't have to be right next to each other because this problem really means the same thing as 16 times 9 times 50 over 15 times 25 times 32. And I could switch the orders of those numbers if I wanted to make it easier to cancel. So this is actually the same thing as 16 times 9 times 50 over 32 times 15 times 25. I can move these numbers around however I want, and then I could simplify straight on top of each other if I wanted to. So that is why the cross-canceling can work with any denominator and any numerator. So I'm going to start with 16 and 32. 16 goes into 16 once, and it goes into 32 twice. 25 will go into 50. We'll divide into 50 two times. And 3 will go into 15 and into 9. Now we're going to double check and see if there's any numerators that are divisible with any of the denominators. We notice the 2 over the 2 will simplify. So 2 goes into 2 once, 2 goes into 2 once. Now in the numerator we have a 1, a 3, and a 1. In the denominator we have a 5, a 1, and a 5. And so there's nothing with the common factors in the numerator and the denominator. So we're going to head and we're going to multiply straight across. 1 times 3 times 1 for the numerator, 5 times 1 times 1 for the denominator. So we end up with 3/5. If your answer is not completely simplified, when you get it, it means that you did not cross-cancel everywhere you could or simplify on top of each other. The 2 and the 2, we simplified on top of each other. Next, we're going to learn how to multiply fractions with variables in them. So the first thing I want to do is make sure that any whole numbers are written with a 1 underneath them. So I'm going to take the 9n, which means 9 times some number. We don't know what number it is. And I'm going to put that on top of 1 because it's a whole number. So we need to put the whole number over 1 so we can clearly see our numerators and denominators. We need to always see our numerators and denominators when we're multiplying. Next, we're going to see if we can cross-cancel. We're going to cross-cancel. 3 will go into itself once, and it will go into 9 3 times. So we end up on the top, what we basically have is 2 times 3 times n, and on the bottom we have 1 times 1. So this ends up equaling 6n over 1, which is the same thing as just 6n. For the next fraction, we have negative 3 over 1 times y over 6. So we're writing our whole numbers over 1. And next we're going to see if we can cross-cancel the 3 and the 6, because 3 goes into 3 once and it goes into 6 twice. That's how we can cross-cancel. We're going to multiply straight across, and we only worry about the signs when we get our answer. We're going to decide, oh, well, we have a negative times a positive, so that's a negative. So we end up with 1 times y, which is y. 1 times 2 is 2, and it's a negative value because we have a negative fraction times a positive fraction. With me? All right, here we end up with negative 5 over 1 times negative 7a over 10. We can cross-cancel the 5 and the 10. We multiply straight across, and we end up with 5 times 7 is 35, times a is just 35a. 1 times 2 is 2. We have a negative fraction times a negative fraction, which equals a positive fraction. Oh, I'm sorry, the 5 was canceled. And so that is actually 1 times 7a, so that's just 7a. So 1 times 7a is 7a, 1 times 2 is 2, negative times negative is a positive. In this next example, with 3c over 5 times 5 over c, we know we can cross-cancel the 5 and 5 because 5 will go into itself once. Well, c and c, they're the same number. We just don't know what number they are. So we can cross cancel them as well. So we end up in our numerator with 3 times 1 times 1, and then our denominator with 1 times 1. So our solution is 3.